Hey guys, welcome back to Hobby Sauce. I have my friend Brody back with me today, and he's going to show me how to make trees. Let's get saucy.
Hobby Sauce.
Thanks for coming back, guys. Alright, so this is a compilation of my terrain album, and Brody is very gracious to show this to me today. Thanks for coming, Brody.
Appreciate it.
We've been prepping a lot of terrain for CCC. By the time you see this, CCC's probably already happened, but this is one of the last things we want to show you in that we're going to be making trees and then forests. So the first thing that we're going to do, and this is one thing that I did, Brody did all this, which is pretty awesome. Thanks, Brody.
You're welcome.
But what I did here is I have made a base. So you have seen how I made these before, but the difference here, this is like the obstacles, I've cut two. Then I just took a 2-inch hole driller and I drilled out a hole. That gave me little discs like this that I painted brown. That's the back side, that's the front side. And then I glued these together. I used the first one, when I cut the first one, I used it as a stencil. So when I did that, of course, I made one that was slightly larger, but I just glue these together. You can sand them down if you want to. It'll look better if you do. And ultimately, you're left with something that looks like this. So you can see right there, this is flocked, but otherwise it's exactly like what you saw before. And what I really like about this is when you cut the hole cutter in, it leaves a little bit of a gap that normally would look really bad, but because I flocked the inside of it, you can see there, you really can't tell, which is really important. You have to be really close to see that, and it's a war game, so we're not going to be really close. But what this is severely lacking are trees, so Brody's going to show me how to do that today.
So we're going to make us some happy little trees here.
Happy little trees. We're going to Bob Ross it up. Someone just needs to grow a fro, right? So what are we using today?
So these are
Woodland Scenics
armatures.
Cool.
They're about, you get either 12 or 14 in a package.
Okay.
I like them because, one, they're cheaper than making the wire ones, and the wire ones are a lot more time consuming.
Okay.
They look better for like a diorama, but since we're just going for terrain that's going to be handled a lot, I prefer using these. And so
and it's easy, they're already together, right?
Right, pretty much. We don't have to do all the folding and wiring and twisting, which you can do if you really want to go more realistic.
So let's go through what else they're going to need today before we get started on the trees. We're also going to need just a list of things. We need spray adhesive. This isn't necessary, but it's a lot easier, right?
Yes, because I'll go over more of that when we get to that step.
Sure.
Why it works better.
Okay, we're also going to want wood filler, which you can get pretty cheap at a hardware store, Walmart, Lowe's, anything really. We also need some clump foliage, which we have in a bag right here. Right?
Yeah, I took two colors and mixed, and then I actually ran it through because this is the coarse, I ran it through a coffee grinder, just a few pulses to kind of get a little bit smaller because of the size trees we're making.
Pro tip right there. Thanks, guys. And then the only other thing we need, and we don't have it pictured here, but it is teddy bear fluff. And you can get that at your local hobby store, definitely something like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Doesn't cost very much, but we got specifically, what was it,
Polyfill.
Polyfill.
I prefer the polyfill over like a cotton batting because it holds up better to the spray paint, and whenever you make the glue, it hardens harder for terrain that's going to be handled a lot, so it stands up more.
We'll show you more how we got to that when we get to it, but basically we just spray painted it green, but it's the same stuff. You can buy that from Woodland Scenics, but it would cost a lot more money. It's the same stuff.
It's like $30 for like a 1-ounce package, where we got
enough for a couple teddy bears.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see how we do this. So how do we go ahead and get started?
So first thing, we're gonna remove the bottom of the tree.
So it comes in two pieces here. We pop that off, and that looks like a good little hole for the tree, right?
Yeah, and then we just push it together.
Push it in. I have to apply a little force here, but there we go. We got it in.
The great thing about this is you don't have to clean these trees up now. Now we just, normally I would remove the lines, but since we're going to use the wood filler to get a more realistic trunk, I suggest not. So I just take a popsicle stick.
Okay, popsicle stick for you.
And then
popsicle stick for me.
Mix this up a little bit.
Good deal.
If it starts to dry out, pro tip, add a little PVA. It will get you back to the consistency you want. You won't want it too dry, but you don't want it too wet. If it's too wet, it's too smooth. You don't get that realistic bark look.
So is that a good consistency?
This is okay for now.
All right.
So then,
how much of this do we want? We want a little bit, a lot of it?
I start with a little bit to build up. And what I do is I start at the top of the trunk and work down to the base.
Okay.
Because you want to be thinner at the top, and then you want to get a little thicker towards the bottom, because trees get thinner as the branches grow up.
And this doesn't have to look perfect at the top, right? Because we're going to cover this all the flock.
Exactly. So we want the little thin at the top, kind of thicker as we go down. And the great thing about this is happy little mistakes make it look more natural. So you don't want it to be completely perfect. You want to get some of those, you want ridges, you want kind of holes, because trees aren't perfectly smooth. You know, bark has those niches and crannies.
Same concept with rock, and why we use filler for that so often. It just gets you a lot of good little mistakes, and if we dry brush this, it brings those all out really well.
Yes,
too.
They pop. Another good thing for this wood filler is I've used it also as like a ground cover. So since you're buying such a large tub, you get multi-purpose out of it. So you're, you know, economic as well as practical.
All right, is that looking good, Brody? Is that what we want?
I try to kind of at the bottom kind of get kind of an angle down. If you want to like try to make roots, you can. Another good thing you could maybe use is like a pipe cleaner if you want to get that far into like a root structure. But like I kind of, you see how I've got it, there's not really a gap. But that's kind of where, what do you want your tree to kind of look like?
This is your tree, right?
Right. Well, it's your tree too.
Get our Bob Ross thing going.
Right. Happy little trees.
Whatever you want, man. If you want to give it some roots, you can give it some roots. You know.
The other good thing about this is you don't have to glue this armature together, because the wood filler here is going to act like your adhesive to the little base that it comes with.
All right. Well, I'm pretty happy with this, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this aside. How long does the wood filler take to dry, Brody?
15 to 30 minutes, depending on how thick you get it. I check it after 15, and then if it's dry enough for the net for paint, then I go ahead. If not, I give it a little bit longer. So I'm just going to finish this one up here.
And this is a completed one that you have here. We can see right there we have a completed tree, and that's dry. We're going to do this cooking style show. Rachel Ray.
Step by step.
Here we go. So we have a completed one here, and after we complete this, we are going to paint it, right?
Yep, I prime it next, and I try to go for a primer that's near the base color of the tree I want.
So we've got a dark primer here. This is exactly like what we just showed you. It's just been painted.
Just primed.
All right, and then
we go into dry brushing. I start off with a dark wash in the recesses on these to get that shadowy look.
And you could definitely do that. If you're not into that, we can just go straight to the highlights. But let's go ahead and hit some of these. So what we need to dry brush, let's put that wood filler up there. What we need to dry brush, we've been over this before on some of my other videos. A paper towel will work just fine. You can also use a palette if you have a lot, but we don't have a lot that we need to get done today. We'll take a brush, stiff brush, and what we're going to do, it's really important, this is one of my big pet peeves, tree trunks are not brown. Just Matt needs a moment. Tree trunks are not brown. And if you don't believe me, go outside and look at one of your trees. It might have a little bit of brown to it, but a lot of tree trunks aren't brown at all, and even the ones you think of are not Crayola brown.
Nope.
So we have a dark color here that we kind of use. It's just a dark brown, okay? And that's it. That's what we're going to use for our shadow. But on top, we're going to come in with kind of, this is Reaper's Olive Skin Highlight. Unimportant what the color is. What it is it's kind of a taupe, okay? And we're going to dry brush that on top. So we're going to take this, kick some of this out. Of course, there's going to be no paint in here. Of course. I don't have a quick fix for that. This is the best thing. It goes all the way down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fits just perfect. Come on, I gave you so many. That's what she says, man. All right, so we're just gonna pour this out right here. Look at that, we got that great. And then we're gonna take my brush, just get a little bit on, and wipe it off. All right, now it's picking up my skin tone, but I can tell on the little individual bits of my finger, it's only picking up the raised edges. So we're gonna take, which ones are we taking? There's so many in front of us. All right, this one, and then we're just gonna paint that on top. And that's just gonna pick up the raised edges.
Yep.
I need to go in there and get a little bit more paint.
I would pay more attention to the trunk because that's what you're going to see. The branches you don't have to hit as hard because we're going to cover them with flock.
Pro tip right there.
Save your paint and time.
Just feather them up enough to where it doesn't look weird. That's all you need to do. All right, and
so
that's all that it took there, guys. You can see we have our first
happy little tree.
Yeah, but we're gonna go a little bit further and we're gonna take a gray. I think gray is probably a closer color to what these are, but this is very light gray, extremely light gray. So I'm just gonna get a little bit.
Yep, just want the highlights with this one.
And I leave the taupe in my brush when I do this, so it kind of mixes. And I'm just gonna lightly put this over just a little bit. You notice I'm just not hitting this nearly as hard. And that just gives us
a little bit of pop.
There we go. And now we have a tree trunk.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit this next one because these are only missing that little bit of light gray. So I might as well just give them their little...
Is this the one that's missing that too?
Yep. Their happy little brush.
Ah! I've dropped it.
Oh no.
I lost him.
Man down.
I lost him. All right. So we got that.
Right.
And now what do we do? So we got it painted. That didn't take long.
So
dry brushing is easy, guys. Dry brushing is easy.
Now that we have our painted ones, we're going to form the branches into a organic shape.
Okay.
So we're going to start with this, and we want to end like this.
Ah, nifty there. So what do? You just bend it?
So I would try not to bend the where you
don't bend what, don't do what I just did right there.
because if you crack the wood filler is stout, but you know you're strong enough to break it, and you don't want to crack that. So
I don't know if I'm strong enough to break it, Brody.
Well, I try to grab here and then bend the branch so that I'm not breaking the wood filler, and then just kind of make them look like a tree would be. This
Go
one
out
here,
and look at trees if you want to.
if you want to get that crafty yet.
I think it's always really important to look at source material. Says the man who's not looking at source material right now. But you guys are smarter than me, and you're not filming a YouTube video, so you have time to go walk out there and look out the window.
And then another thing I do with the main trunk is I take it and twist it 90 degrees so that those armatures you get at a different angle than the rest.
Would you look at that? We've got
a happy little...
I don't know if he's happy now. We just heard him, man.
Yeah, it is, because what we're doing here is we're making the branches blossom so that they can catch the rays of the sun.
Beautiful rays.
Now that we have those, the next step is that teddy bear fluff that we've spray painted.
Do we have that with us?
Yes, I do.
Ooh, where is it?
It was a nice big green clump. Did I leave it in the car?
Brody left something in the car, so I'm just sitting here. It's really quiet. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside. All right, so what we have here, so the next thing that we need after we have this is we need to give it like a base, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The branch structure so that the flock can adhere to it.
So this is a little bit of our teddy bear fluff. It's nothing special. But what we've done is we've spray painted it green with some Krylon spray paint, 99 cents, Walmart. And the reason we did that is because this might show through. It might. So we just want to make sure that it's a dark green just in case it does see through.
Because it'll be the recesses and the shadows.
I'm going to give this to you so you can do it. I don't know how to do this here. That's why you just show that.
So
put it up here so they can see it.
What we do is you kind of lay it over the top, and then you want to kind of pull it to the branches, and then to kind of give it that structure.
And no glue here, guys.
No glue at this
point. Stick to itself.
Well, when we spray adhesive it will.
Right, it's not sticky. What I mean is like the branches are going to hold it in place. Yeah.
And then you just kind of attach and pull to kind of fill in. The idea is you want different layers here. You want to leave some gaps because trees aren't perfect. They don't grow a solid dome. And then just once you've got it kind of attached, then we're ready for the next step. So see how we kind of have a structure built?
It already kind of looks like a tree. It looks like a very sad tree, but it won't. It won't be sad.
We're gonna give it some body.
All right.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's Brody.
So let's get some of these guys out of the way here, so we have some room. And then what we're gonna do? What do we do here? We do something with the spray adhesive.
This is where I take the spray adhesive because you want that extra tackiness to hold one, this to the armature, and then two, the coarse flock that I ran through a coffee grinder, so that will stick to this as well.
Now this is an optional step, correct? We don't have to use the.
You don't have to use spray adhesive.
We could use PVA here if we wanted.
You could use a PVA for speed, and that's why I do it this way.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this in a little Tupperware container.
Right.
This is gonna make this a lot easier for us. All right. We can just put whatever we don't use back in.
Yep.
But you can see that looks just real pretty, guys. Okay. We got two different tones in there because tones are good.
Right.
All right. So we just take this
and then
just spray it.
Yeah, just hit it. Yeah, you don't want too much because it might.
Oh, the AC kicked on right now. Of course, there's a fan on right now.
And so then we just dunk. Yep, dunk.
Oh, look at that, guys.
This is why I prefer the spray adhesive.
All right, I'm gonna get the bottom of this too.
Yep.
It's a little messy. You might want to.
I use a bigger Tupperware at home. I just didn't bring it for.
We don't use big Tupperware around here, and I wasn't gonna use my casserole dish.
Yeah, don't do that. The wife would get mad.
I'm the cook. I would be mad. So we have a tree. Look at that.
Yeah.
Of course, it's coming off, and we're going to fix that in a minute.
Yes, we're going to. That's actually the next step. I take, after I've dunked, I take my spray PVA, which is...
We got this in a container. All this is water and PVA.
I actually also add like 3 drops of Dawn dish liquid, so that it doesn't settle in the bottle. It won't dry hard. After each use, run hot water through the sprayer, but the bottle won't get hard with a little bit of Dawn or Ajax.
Pro tip. All right, so we have our new guy. This is the one we just ran through.
So I give it a liberal spraying. You want to get all the nice and wet, because what this is doing is it's like sealing it even further onto the polyfill.
And we want to do this multiple times ultimately, right?
Yes. Well, I do it once, let it dry, and then we spray it again when we're going to add a little bit of the ground flock to kind of give it some different tones.
Now we're losing a little bit of our stuff right there. We can go in and fix that though. Ultimately, what we're going to want is a completely full and clear guy.
Yep. So now that this has had a chance to dry.
That one's drying, this one is dry, and we're ready to go again.
So now we're going to hit it with the PVA a second time. This helps strengthen that bond so that it's more durable.
More better.
Yeah, more durable. It can be handled more.
This is just like what I've been telling you guys when you want to take PVA and you want to hit it twice. The first one glues it down. The second one activates the old PVA, keeps it wet, and then puts PVA on top of it too, basically making a PVA sandwich, which is pretty awesome.
Next step, we take some
Flock.
blended turf, whatever.
And you can make this match your own units, but your own terrain, but this is just to give it some extra depth.
Yep.
And we're just gonna take that.
And just sprinkle the happy little tree.
And you may even want to hit this with PVA again.
Yes,
it's not hard.
I would still seal this one more time after we're done. I would hit it with one more to make that PVA sandwich that we were talking about.
We had some spots on here that we're still seeing the polyfill a little bit.
And I would hit that harder
I can
with
just cover it with this. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and look at that, guys. Before it kind of looked a little dorky, okay, but once we add that on, it really kind of brings it all together.
And another good thing about the flock, if you really want to do accent lighting, you can do a darker around the bottom, shade it in with the multiple different ground flocks to give you that three-dimensional coloring.
And ultimately what we're going to do afterwards, once this is dry, this is our first tree, but we're going to take this, we're going to glue this onto it, we're going to flock this any way we want, and ultimately we're going to have trees that can go in here and can be removed if you need to walk over it.
Exactly. Nice, functional, durable terrain.
This is the same kind of idea that Games Workshop makes. They make some really awesome forests. They're like 30 bucks a pop. And if you're trying to do one table, great, but we're trying to do something for an entire tournament. I can't afford that. I don't have a $100 entry fee. But this is your next best step.
With doing it this way, we can get about a tree for about $1, $1.50 for one.
It's pretty good.
Just the tree. That's really good.
And then this whole thing, I got 9 out of a quarter of one 4x8 sheet that cost $8. So we're not looking at much for the bases, and the rest of it's just glue and flock. That's not bad either.
Not at all.
So altogether, this is pretty good. And we got yourself a tree. We'll have more coming. And just take a look at that real quick. It's pretty nifty tree. I like it. And thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for coming on the show, Brody.
Thanks for having me.
Greatly appreciate it. We're going to get some battle reports with this guy pretty soon because he's a dwarf player and we need to see more dwarves out there. And for right now, you have anything else to say to them before we get out of here?
We got some happy trees.
Happy trees. For right now, guys, stay saucy.
Hobbysauce.